Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Matwichuk, and the purpose of today's intermittent reinforcement email message is to talk to you about using the Stoic dichotomy of control in conjunction with REBT's principle of emotional responsibility. REBT traditionally has emphasized what we call the principle of emotional responsibility, which essentially means that we largely disturb ourselves. We see events as giving us an opportunity to get upset, but REBT teaches us that our rigid and extreme attitudes lie at the core of our disturbance, and in essence, we disturb ourselves about the adversities we face. So, REBT has always argued that it's good for us to take that into account and invoke the principle of emotional responsibility in order to adopt healthy emotional reactions when we face adversity. Implicit in REBT is the Stoic idea that there are things within our control and there are things that are outside of our control. Now, REBT would argue that we first focus on having a healthy negative emotion, and then we go and try to change aspects of external circumstances that we may be able to change. Traditionally, REBT doesn't speak of the Stoic dichotomy of control, but I think there's value in referring to it and making explicit statements about it. Because if we as humans can first identify our emotions as being disturbed and work on undisturbing ourselves, which would be the utilization of the principle of emotional responsibility, then we have the ability to pull the levers of the dichotomy of control effectively. By referencing the dichotomy of control, we remain aware that we can work at changing certain things and that there is some element of influence that we have over external circumstances. So I think that it would be good for you to train yourself when you face adversity to first fall back on REBT's principle of emotional responsibility. Reflect on whether or not you're having a healthy emotional experience in response to the adversity you're facing. Typically, emotions like concern and disappointment are indicators that you are in a healthy emotional state. But you may also feel emotions like annoyance, displeasure, or healthy frustration, which really is anger, but a healthy version of it. These emotions all rest on, one, the assumption that we disturb ourselves, and two, that we can hold flexible attitudes about the adversities we face. Now, it's also good once you have checked in with yourself and determined that you are either in a healthy emotional state or need to get into a healthy emotional state, that once you've done that work, you can then invoke the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control. You could ask yourself, well, beyond the attitudinal work that I've already done, what more can I do to change or impact external circumstances? In other words, what control do I still have? I may not like my job, and I can have a healthy negative emotion towards it, but also within my control is the ability to look for another job. Furthermore, if I have healthy negative emotions towards the current job I hold, I'm more likely to persist in my effort to change what is under my control. So my exploitation of the dichotomy of control will be more effective by using REBT's principle of emotional responsibility. Now, it's true to say that these two ideas overlap a good amount, because when we emphasize emotional responsibility, we are also controlling our attitudes, or taking advantage of the control we have over our attitudes towards adversity. However, I think that talking about these two principles separately is a good idea, because it helps us to remember the order of operations. First, take responsibility for your emotional reaction and get in a healthy emotional state. Once you've done that, you can then more clearly see the options that are available for you to exploit. This is the dichotomy of control. What's under your control? If you don't like where you live, once you've gotten out of depression and into a healthy state of disappointment, you can then exploit the levers of control that are at your disposal. You can look for a new place to live. So these two ideas are going to work in conjunction, and it's my hope that you will remember both of these ideas. Furthermore, I hope that you will attend on Saturday when I have on Zoom my conversation with a volunteer. I will show them how to use the principle of emotional responsibility and the Stoic idea of the dichotomy of control. This weekly Zoom conversation is free to attend, but you need a link. So write to me at rebtdoctor@gmail.com and you will receive the link. It's held every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern in Philadelphia, which is 2 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in Bucharest, and 6:30 in New Delhi. We have a worldwide audience, and I think that's because people around the world have adversity and at the same time profit from learning these two core ideas of REBT. So I hope that you remember today's intermittent reinforcement email address, email video, and email points. And I also hope that you will attend on Saturdays. It's a great way to learn REBT, and it's free to attend. See you on Saturday.